I, 24 female, did not ask my sister, 26, to be a bridesmaid for my wedding. I decided to have just one, and I asked my best friend, who's more of a sister to me than my actual sister. I never wanted my sister to be a bridesmaid or participate in my wedding. I got engaged in 2020 when I and my fiancé lived together for the first time. We had nowhere to go and nothing to do for a few months, so I thought about it a lot, but I couldn't imagine asking her. There are two problems my family has. The first part is my sister, who's the favorite, and my parents could not imagine me not wanting her to take center stage and become the center of attention at my wedding. My whole life, I've heard how beautiful she is. She modeled as a kid, and her appearance was always something a spotlight was put on. She was the star of the family, and she loved it. She always had a way to drag attention off others to herself. I was seen as the ugly duckling, and my sister had a way of nicely picking on that. If I went out with friends, she would say, I should wear makeup to look nice, or suggest I should try to make myself look cute. She would say she was happy nobody thought we looked alike. I started dating my fiancé in high school, and it was one of the few times I was dragged to a party. He approached me and started flirting, and then my sister came over and said he deserved the pretty sister. He rejected her, and we ended up leaving together, and we've been together ever since. But she brought it up when she came home with me for Christmas in 2019 and joked that it wasn't too late. But I think she was serious. Despite all this, my parents believe we should be super close, and I should adore my sister. The other problem is, my sister was diagnosed with cancer 4 months ago. The treatments have ruined her hair, and she's developed some other health complications from treatment. So now everyone feels so bad for her and has gathered around her, trying to make her feel as beautiful as ever, and they want her to shine. So my parents feel like I should want to help her out by shining that light on her during the wedding. But I don't want that. I don't want her to steal the show. My parents asked me about bridesmaids a few weeks ago. I told them I had asked my best friend. Being dense, I didn't realize where this was going, and my parents told me to ask my sister and let her be the only bridesmaid. They said my best friend should understand and be happy to step aside. The following day, my sister told me she wanted to be by my side when I got married and how we're sisters and stuff. She also tried to say she didn't know if she would be here next year, so this would be so special to her. I said no to all three of them. I said she would not be my bridesmaid or my only bridesmaid. Since I said no, they've acted like I'm some monster for this and shamed me heavily. It makes me question my saying no. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This woman has insulted you and undermined your self-confidence your whole life and tried to seduce your partner multiple times in front of you. Screw cancer. It's sad she's dealing with that, but that doesn't erase the crap sister she's been. She's lucky she's even getting an invite. If your parents want a big party for her to feel good about, they can throw her one. Tell your family you think your sister being a bridesmaid would be too stressful for her in her delicate condition. Tell them you want her to concentrate on herself and not overextend, and you wouldn't consider making her your bridesmaid, much less your only bridesmaid, because you want what's best for her. Maybe she can tend to the address book or something, if she's up to it, on the day, but this whole debacle is another reason some people just elope. Elope was my knee jerk. Take your BFF and your SO or another friend to a location you live within a 3 to 6 hour travel radius and get married while there. Long weekend, Thursday through Thursday holiday, where no one in the family knows you're married until the honeymoon is over. Spring it on parents and princess as you want to get it out of the way so they could focus on your sick sister. I can see it now. DJ announces, a sister with OP's new husband dance, just in case she never gets to have her own first dance, if she dies. Let her cut the cake. She may never get to. Let her toss the bouquet. Let her replace you on your special day. Absolutely. Elope. Put the money for the wedding on a great destination instead. You just know the parents are going to find a way to ruin OP's day if they're all there. There really is no reasoning with parents about their golden child. I, 24 female, didn't grow up with my step-siblings, Kyle and Kamea, 24 male and female, so I barely knew them. I lived in another country with my mother and moved to my dad's country a year ago for a marriage that never happened. Basically, my dad introduced me to a man, Neil, 32, 2 years ago, and we had a year-long, long-distance relationship. We decided to get married, and I moved over. Then he slept with my stepsister, Kamea, and got her pregnant. It was just a messed up situation. I didn't make a fuss. My dad barely stood up for me, and the only apologetic person was my stepmother. That was because she didn't want me to make her kids look bad to the rest of the family. She's also the reason my parents' marriage broke up. I stayed in my dad's country, and I'm dating someone new, so it's all good. I bake as a hobby and occasionally sell some of the things I make. I usually just bake for my boyfriend, Will, 27, or his mother because she's a sweetheart. But last week, Dad called me up and asked if I would bake for my half-sister's teen birthday in a few weeks. I agreed and started buying materials and looking for inspiration. I was asked explicitly not to put any numbers on the cake because they said they had gotten some special candles for the cake to signify the birthday age. I believe this was because my sister's autistic and likes things in a particular way. I'm going on holiday very soon, so I won't be able to attend the birthday party. I was with my grandmother yesterday, and she remarked on how kind I was for baking for Kamea and Neil's daughter's birthday. I asked her what she was talking about, and it turned out my dad had lied to me, and in reality, the cake I was baking would be for that child's birthday instead. I know nothing about this baby because she's not even related to me. I didn't even know her birthday, so I didn't suspect anything. Turns out her birthday is a few days before my sister's. My grandmother showed me the text. She thought it was wrong of my dad to ask me to bake for the party, confirming what my dad had done. I called him to let him know I would not be baking for this party, and I was horrified at his attempt to con me out of time and money for a baby I don't even know with parents I don't particularly like. He begged me to reconsider because it was too late to ask for any other baker, but I hung up. Now I'm being bombarded with text accusing me of punishing a baby for her parents' actions and for leaving them with no alternative besides store-bought cakes. I'm starting to feel bad. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your dad put himself in this situation by trying to con you into baking for the baby. If he had been honest, there would have been plenty of time to find someone else when you declined. That's some really crappy behavior from your dad, trying to trick his own daughter and then blaming her when she finds out, and his actions have consequences. To be honest, I would turn down any future baking request from that part of your family, since they clearly have no respect for you. You're not punishing a baby. The baby doesn't know what day it is. Your dad tried to con you, but you found out, and you actually had a spine and told him no. I find it hard to believe you're the only one that can bake a cake. There are also those places that bake cakes, called bakeries, but you have to pay for them. Your dad is a grade A snake and a jerk. Sorry that you're related to him and your equally crappy stepsister, right? Let's be honest. Toddler birthday parties are for the parents, not the baby, who won't even remember it. Honey, the baby would not be eating the cake anyway, so you're not denying the baby anything. The adults are the ones who would be eating the cake. As punishment, I suggest you make this public. If they're going to keep being malicious and harassing, it's time to fight fire with fire. And you've got an inferno that can be unleashed. I, 27 male, have a very strained relationship with my family, especially with my father and brother, mainly because they think my job is too girly. I'm a makeup artist. Before anyone asks, no, I'm not gay. I'm not trans. I just like the art of makeup and always have been drawn towards it. Ever since I was a teenager, I wanted to be a makeup artist or do something on that line. My father and brother always mocked me for it. Aside from the awful comments, they would tease me and bully me. My brother once broke my MAC cosmetic kit when I was 17. I bought that with the little money I'd saved up from working odd jobs. Instead of replacing it, my dad started praising my brother. Moreover, He replaced my makeup kit with cheaper, lower quality ones by saying it's all the same thing. I moved out at 18 and only contacted them on holidays and birthdays. I knew they would mock my career if I had regular contact with them. They already do it when I visit them, and it's unbearable. That brings us to today. A few days ago, I visited home because it was my dad's birthday. Also, my girlfriend had insisted on meeting my family. I also wanted my girlfriend to meet my family because we were getting pretty serious. And as usual, they started teasing me because of my job. Their comments were awful, combined with a bunch of misogynistic insults. My last straw came when my brother said I should start doing another job because painting faces would not get me anywhere. He compared me to his best friend who sells sugar and said, "Selling it is more dignified than what you do." I told him to shut up. Unlike him, I'm not mooching off my father. He dares to question my job when he hasn't worked for 2 years and is too lazy to even look for one. My brother took things too far and tried to punch me, but I blocked it. If it weren't for my dad and girlfriend, they would have had to call the police. After the incident, I blocked both of them. My dad demanded an apology. I just told him to screw off and never expect another visit from me. My girlfriend was upset with me because she thought it was unnecessary for me to insult my brother. I wanted to know if I did something wrong because the people around me are saying I should have brushed it off. Am I the idiot? Edit. My mom left my dad when I was 3. We don't know where she is, and I always grew up with the idea that I have no mom. Not the idiot in any way, geez. What a toxic family. Go no contact for a while, as you have no need to be subjected to this BS. I hate your family. Go out there and make a huge success of your skill, and don't give these absolute morons any further thought for at least 5 years. No birthdays, Christmas, or Thanksgiving. Surround yourself with your girl and good friends at that time. Do not be guilted back into that house. Only go there when they stop stepping over your boundaries. And your girlfriend, she watched with her own eyes as they spewed phobic and misogynistic comments to abuse her boyfriend, and her response was to tell her boyfriend he should have toned it down? Nope, she needs to go yesterday. I disagree. It was the girlfriend's first visit to OP's family. She's only seeing a snapshot of the family. The behavior runs deeper, much deeper, to a level that the girlfriend would probably never understand. While her comment was asinine, she's probably only trying to keep the peace. Well, I'd seriously question going further with the girlfriend. Why is it that the victim of bullying is constantly pressured to brush it off and be the better person? Why don't people tell bullies to do better? Why doesn't anyone say to the aggressor to do better? Considering your husband doesn't have a job, he really should shut the heck up at you earning a living in an honest way. He's not going anywhere without a job now, is he? And unlike his buddy, the dealer, your career doesn't break laws, so you were absolutely right to call him out on his hypocrisy. I'm a young female teen, and just last week, my older brother turned 18. He's at college a few hours away, so my mom, dad, and I got in the car to meet him and give him his presents. And yeah, I crocheted him a Pikachu. Nobody talked about what we were eating for dinner ahead of time, or I just wouldn't have gone. But when we arrived, my dad kept asking if my brother wanted to go to Hooters. I'll be honest and just say that it made me feel really uncomfortable. For those of you who don't know, Hooters is a chain restaurant where the whole point is to gawk at the waitresses, who are all hot girls wearing white shirts and little orange shorts. It made me feel really, really uncomfortable and bad. So I said that they could go inside, and I looked and saw that there was a bookstore about a 5-minute walk away. So I'd go there instead because I didn't want to go. My dad got angry and started screaming at me that if I had a problem, I could just sit in the car. So I said, okay, I'll just sit here. He snatched my phone and screamed that I wouldn't need my phone to sit there. I said, okay. They went in, and then about 20 minutes later, my mom came out to ask me to go inside with them, and I said, no, I don't want to go there. After they dropped off my brother, he screamed at me for my actions. I low-key thought my mom would get it, but when we got home, she told me that I should have just gone in because it wasn't that big of a deal. I told her that it felt really gross to go to a restaurant just meant for gawking at women with my dad and brother. If my dad wanted that, he should have just gone with my brother. She said that sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do. Yeah, I get that, but I figured that applied more to stuff like having to do homework or babysit my mom's friends' kids. Am I the idiot? Edit. My brother's birthday dinner wasn't ruined. They got to go inside and have a good time. He got us presents and money, and he and Dad talked about how hot the waitresses were and how hot it would be to see her and the other girl together on the drive back to his school. So nothing was ruined because I wasn't there. Not the idiot. Genuinely so impressed with you for sticking to your values and not going along with misogyny and the objectification of women, even under huge pressure from your parents. There's no way I would have had that level of maturity and strength of mind at your age. Girls like you will change the world. I agree with this and applaud this young lady. Even her own mom didn't support her, despite her being a woman, yet she stuck to her guns, and that's impressive. Sorry, kid, both your parents are huge idiots. What a weird message for a mom to convey to her daughter. I wonder how she feels about her own husband, gawking at these young, scantily clad women. It feels like she's convinced herself this is normal and okay, and is now projecting that onto her daughter. If anyone should have been on her side, it should have been OP's mom. A dad repeatedly screaming at his young teen daughter for not wanting to go there is insane. What a failure on the part of OP's parents. I, 31 female, recently inherited a significant amount of money from our parents after they passed away. My siblings, both older than me, have been pressuring me to share the inheritance equally between us. However, I've been hesitant because I'm the one who took care of our parents during their final years, sacrificing a lot of time and opportunities for my own career and personal life. Growing up, my siblings were always busy with their own lives. They moved away for college, pursued successful careers, and rarely visited home. Meanwhile, I chose to stay close to my parents, especially when their health started declining. I became their primary caregiver, managing their medical appointments and daily needs, and providing emotional support. During this time, my siblings occasionally checked in, but they didn't contribute much to our parents' care. They never took on responsibilities of caregiving or even offered substantial financial support. Despite this, they still expected an equal share of the inheritance when our parents passed away. Now that I've received the inheritance, my siblings demand their share. They argue that it's only fair since we are all family. However, I strongly believe that I deserve a larger portion because of the sacrifices I made for our parents. I feel resentful that they only started showing interest in our parents' affairs when they realized there was money involved. I've explained my stance to my siblings, who accuse me of being selfish and greedy. They argue that our parents would have wanted us to share equally, regardless of who did what during their final years. However, I can't shake off the feeling that they're trying to take advantage of me and the situation. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If your parents wanted your siblings to share in the inheritance, they would have had their wills drafted accordingly. They did not. It clearly indicates that your parents wanted to leave you everything. You sacrificed a lot to be your parents' caretaker. It's a hard job that never ends. Your siblings were content to let you assume the burden of your parents' care, thinking they would get an inheritance no matter what. You aren't being greedy or selfish. Your siblings are. Keep the inheritance for yourself. The sacrifice is a good point. Being a caregiver can cause mental strain, and looking after two people by yourself, in terms of effort and money, isn't easy. They rarely visited, let alone gave OP some breathing room. They worked for and have careers that are paying off for them. This inheritance is how OP is getting remuneration for her sacrifice. People like OP's siblings make me glad I'm an only child. Yeah, everything will fall on me, but I don't have to worry about their selfishness and entitlement after all the hard work is done. I'm all for splitting inheritance equally when it's fair, but not when siblings think they're entitled to a fair share simply because they're blood. They decided they didn't have to share the burden of caring for a parent's failing health.